Welcome to Like Pigs in Space, an arts and culture podcast. I'm Aaron Mason.
And I'm Max Mason.
And welcome to another week.
Here we are.
Yes.
Another week in.
I had it was a long, weird week. But mostly because I was waiting for Thursday. And because Thursday I drove up to Mesa to go see Fishbone.
Oh, yeah.
and so it was kind of fun because your mom was said, well, as long as you're heading that way, go by Casa Grande to the rummage shop that we had gone to and see.
Right.
And so I went, and there was stuff there that she had wanted, and I got that, and I got some, and Fletcher was with me, and so we went there, and then we drove to Mesa, and there was a South Indian restaurant. Tamil, like Tamil Nadu, but still South Indian. And so when we were leaving the rummage shop, he's like, "That was a great side trip." and then he's like, "I'm hungry," and I said, "Okay, we're going here." And then he was very happy with that too, because it was really good. It was really right. It was. And so I'm ordering it going, this is my lunch every day when I'm in India. Right. It's exactly right. So it was really cool.
That's good.
Down to the lime soda, the fresh lime soda.
Ooh.
Because they asked.
Sounds really nice.
Yeah. Well, and they even asked, do you want salty or sweet? I'm like, both. To both. and they put the salt and the sugar in. It's awesome. And is
it just like club soda and lime, or?
Yeah, it's it's like fresh squeezed lime juice in the club soda, and then they sweeten it or they salt it or both.
Weird.
Yeah. And
that's cool.
It's awesome. So it was really, really tasty. They had chicken 65, which is the best. So anyway,
is that the sequel to Eiffel 65?
Yeah. No, I think 65 is like,
or is it 85 was the band?
No. Yeah, there you go. It's something about Liberation Day or something, but it's got a bunch of spice. Anyway, it's a good dish. It's an appetizer thing. It's really yummy, and so it's always good to see that.
Nice.
Anyway, so and then the concert was at the Nile Theater, which is downtown Mesa. And the interesting thing about that place is that you go in, and I didn't realize it, but there's a full basement, which you don't go into it, but the fact that it exists means as soon as somebody does anything with any bass in it, it's a highly interactive experience because the whole floor shakes.
Yeah.
So it's sort of great.
Yeah. That's kind of like the Crystal Ballroom here in Portland. Like, it's very famous for having very shaky floors.
That's kind of probably awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a lot like that. It's like, this is weird, it's shaking so much. I didn't think they had basements. And then there it is. Okay. Just saw the stairway going down. There you go. This is going to be fun.
Yeah.
I hope it stays together because it's like 100 years old or something like that.
Right.
So anyway, very good show. And the opening band was Pinata Protest, which they're from San Antonio, and they're a mariachi punk band.
Ooh, nice.
And it's awesome. So
yeah. Cool.
They toss some naughty words.
Nice.
I'm going to teach you some Spanish. And like, that does not, and he goes, it means I love your mother. I'm like, it does not mean that. So anyway, there you go.
Well, there's another concert coming up it's a lot closer to you than it is to me. That's in Roswell, New Mexico.
Oh, yeah.
And it's Phoebe Bridgers.
Oh, no. When's that?
I think it's soon. I don't remember the exact date, but it's like it's just a one-off show, and it's like the first thing she's done in 3 years.
Okay.
Like she's been kind of absent ever since the Grammys with Boy Genius. And
Okay. I'm going to have to go look that up.
yeah, I think it's pretty soon.
The Liberty May. Oh, I missed it. It's so soon. It was Friday.
It was Friday?
Yeah.
I saw it yesterday.
It was Friday and Saturday. Oh no, Saturday is Lubbock, Texas. Well, let's see if there's more. But that's really cool. Yeah, and that's it, because it's like, here, buy tickets. Nope, you can't buy tickets. Sorry.
Dang, well, never mind.
Well, it was still. Now I can be on the lookout.
Yeah. So at least that's something good. Probably have some new music on the way.
Yeah, awesome.
I don't think she's had any solo music since Punisher, and that was 2020.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to hear new music from her. Well,
yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Very cool.
Awesome. Well, I guess it's my turn this week to talk about something.
Oh, that's good, because I wouldn't have.
I think this will be a new, kind of different for me.
Okay.
It's just going to be about one person, and I'll get to that eventually. But I don't think I've done one where it's just one person.
Yeah.
Really?
Okay.
And there's also a realization I had while prepping this that I should probably look into. Okay. But first, I think we're going to talk a little bit about history.
Okay.
Going back to the Greeks. And were you aware on the internet when there was like a trend a little while ago where everybody was like asking their boyfriends or whatever, it's like, hey, how often do you think about the Roman Empire? And no, Greeks, but
yeah, it's funny you say that, because it had just come to mind, because somebody said something about thinking about something, and I was like, oh, are they trying to, is that kind of one of those thinking about the Roman Empire things?
Yeah.
And I was like, and then I thought, why was that a thing? And how dumb is that?
Yeah.
but yeah, I remember it actually just came to mind in the last week. That,
really?
About it. I don't think about the Roman Empire, just that people did.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't either. I never really got that. But then, the boyfriends be like, yeah, probably like 3 to 4 times a week.
Yeah.
Like, what are you thinking about?
Right. I'm just a big fan of 300.
Right.
Yeah.
So not the Roman Empire, but we're going to talk about the Greeks, and we're going to talk about Aristophanes.
Okay.
I don't know if you heard the name before.
I have, because it sounds like Aristotle, and then I thought, and Persephone, and I was like, oh, that's weird. I don't know who this is.
Yeah. So he's a playwright and a poet, and he wrote some of the oldest surviving comedic dramas.
That's it. That's where I was. Yeah. Okay.
So a lot of his stuff involved like parody, a lot of songs, a lot of explicit language, and a lot of wordplay.
Right.
Also a lot of poop jokes, I guess.
I think that's why I heard of him.
Yeah. And they all involve like really surreal scenarios. So like one's about a guy or a hero flying to heaven on a dung beetle.
Oh.
Or someone like traps their father in a house with a big net to stop him from going to jury duty. Or like constantly going to jury duty. Like he just keeps going.
That's all he does. That's all he does. That's weird.
And a lot of them, celebrate a lot of ordinary characters and attacked power at the time.
Cool.
There's even one, especially the politicians. There's one play where it was about the wives of politicians going on a sex strike to end the war that they were doing.
Right.
So all this is kind of seen as like the baseline, and he is often called the father of comedy.
Okay.
Even going into today, kind of shaped a lot of what comedy even today is like.
Gotcha.
So, especially like the best comedy, because it made you laugh a lot. It was very funny and very well received, but also, had a lot to say, a lot of
Right.
feelings, and made the audience think.
Right.
One of his early plays, there was another politician or something named Creon who like sued him because he thought the play was so obscene, which didn't go anywhere. And then the next play he wrote after that, it had Creon as just like a beggar who ate sausage all the time. But what he said to Creon was, "I'm a comedian, so I'll speak about justice no matter how hard it hurts your ears."
Nice.
Yeah. And so I think that is a really good, like, it's a really interesting kind of art form, comedy, because it really hasn't changed like almost ever, because it's always about, the current situation
Right.
and just poking fun at that. And you can always poke fun at the situation because that's always going to be changing. But like it's still funny to think that 2,500 years later, poop jokes are still very funny.
Never not funny, right?
Yeah.
That was one of his famous lines from 2,500 years ago.
Yeah. And like, a lot of art is constantly changing in its style and its technique and how it's represented, and so that's really interesting. It reminds me of, there was this early like YouTube channel like sketch group called the Bath Boys.
Okay.
And they had this joke where it was they're cavemen and one of them farts for the first time, and they're just kind of like freaking out, and it's like, well, what do we do? Like, what was that? Like, is that like, what should we do? And one's like, okay, we should just do whatever feels natural to do. And then he's like, well, I think I want to laugh. It's like, okay, let's try that.
That's kind of awesome. I think this is funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and that line that you quoted is basically the mission statement of all late night TV, right?
Yeah.
That's their whole thing, is that they're just waiting for that news event that is the fodder they need for that day's jokes.
Right.
So,
yeah. But it got me thinking a lot about like some of my comedic influences, like what kind of really influenced my sense of humor. And I think I grew up with a lot of comedy around.
Yeah.
With things like the Muppets and Homestar obviously was around a lot. SpongeBob was a big thing.
Yeah.
When I was young. And then other shows like the Mystery Science Theater.
Right. Right.
I remember most Sundays we'd come home from church when we were living in the house with Grandma.
Yeah.
I remember coming home from church a lot and watching Mystery Science Theater.
Oh, that's funny.
I think we could like rent the DVDs at the library and or something.
Yeah, that's cool.
But yeah, I remember watching them a lot, and I think it might even be a bigger influence than I really think. Because
really?
I can't watch anything anymore
Yeah.
without like trying to think of a joke to say.
That's funny.
That's a good show. It's a great show. I think one of the earlier things that is really like my style of humor was Film Cow. Is a YouTube channel. They made Charlie the Unicorn.
Okay.
That was
Oh my gosh.
But one of their other animations was the Llamas with Hats videos.
Yes.
And I remember being shown those and being like, this is exactly it. Like everything about this I find funny. And it's a pretty great series. Like it ended up being like a 12-part series, and it kind of got into some weird things.
Kind of.
Yeah. But really interesting too, because it's like the creator of it was talking about it one time. It's like wanting to kill off the characters in the show.
Yeah.
And he's like, the whole series is built around these characters. It'd be like trying to kill off Garfield from Garfield.
Right.
Like, but that feels like the artistic and the funny thing to do.
Well, yeah, it can. Well, yeah, people have gotten away with killing off the main character is the best joke. So
Mhm.
yeah, that'll work.
Yeah. And this also kind of brought me closer to one person in particular. But it was my second companion, Rose now,
Oh yeah.
who we didn't really like each other a lot at the beginning. It was a little stressful. But one of the first things that kind of like brought us together and helped build our friendship
Right.
was another film cal video, which was the Marshmallow People.
Okay.
And it's just about these two marshmallow guys who get really bored and are just trying to not be bored.
Okay.
And so like, I don't know, they start like randomly stabbing one of their friends, and and it's like they just keep complaining. It's like, that's okay, we'll just dump them in a ditch and go light up some firecrackers in a church or something. He's like, that sounds lame, but whatever.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So like really random nothing, but I think there was a lot of depth and like intention, and there's like this weird dream sequence where it's kind of talking about like, when you go to sleep, are you really yourself, or is someone else waking up as you? Which feels totally out of place in this cartoon about marshmallow people.
Right.
But and there's another one recently, this video called Ferrets, and it's about one ferret who's feeling kind of sad, so his friend ferret sings a song to him to like kind of help him feel better, just like things that he likes.
Right.
And in the end of the last verse, he says something like, "We all know the Holocaust was a lie."
Oh no.
And his friend is like, "Well, what was that you said?" And then it goes on to just show how awful this person really is, like how much he enjoys murdering people and eating others. And so like, it's completely ridiculous, but the video recently got taken down because it had that Holocaust denial joke in it.
Right.
And the guy was like, I was like very clear, like, this is a silly cartoon, it's not the biggest deal, but I was very clear, like, people who deny the Holocaust are bad people.
Right.
And like villainous, because this guy is obviously a villain.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
But yeah, just that was some of the things, and I'll get into more later, but I don't know, was there certain shows or acts or things that kind of formed or shaped your sense of humor?
Yeah. So it's kind of funny because there's acts and comedians and shows that I think are really funny that everybody kind of thinks is funny, like easily acceptable, like a Jim Gaffigan type of thing, right?
Oh yeah.
And there's that funny, but then I grew up and watching Bob Newhart too. Do you know who that is?
Yeah, it sounds familiar. I don't know anything specific, but the name sounds familiar.
Yeah, so he had two huge shows. Both, one I think was called the Bob Newhart Show, and the other one was called Newhart.
Okay.
But
yeah.
The first one, he's a psychologist. The second one, he owns a hotel in Maine or something like that, or Vermont, I think. And but he's dry, extremely dry humor.
Yeah.
And his bit before this is he'd do telephone calls on his stand-up, and he's like the explorers calling back to England to tell him about tobacco. And he's like, no, you burn it, yeah, and stick it in your mouth, yeah, no, it's fun. No, I'm not kidding. Right. And he does one side of a conversation. And I think that led to the fact that I think Tig Notaro is hilarious, and I might be the only one when I'm watching it that thinks it's as funny as it is. So I don't know if you've watched her, but there was one stand-up where she took 30 minutes to introduce a musical guest by saying, no, not really, they're not really here.
Yeah.
And it was and like, but really they are, they're gonna come on, but they're not really here. For like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And then they actually were there.
Yeah.
Like, this is so good. It's so not funny that it's funny.
Yeah.
But
I think
it's
that's
that
one
way.
of my favorite kinds of jokes is like something that starts pretty funny and then you just keep doing it until everyone's like, this is so annoying, please stop.
Yeah.
But you just keep working through it. And then at the end, it's like, this is the funniest thing I've ever experienced.
Right. Right. Yeah. It's and it just and then there's the pink water where the Hasim the
Oh,
guide
yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's the fun. I'm going to tell you about the funniest joke ever. This is the joke as Hasim told it, and it's dumb. It's like
Yeah.
he told his wife to fix him some lunch, and then he went to wait for the train, and he fell asleep, and he missed the train. He was daft. Like, and by the end, they're just rolling, and people are. And then what's funny is that I was watching some Indian cinema, and that was the punchline to something else about he was daft. I was like, oh, it's a thing.
Yeah.
Like 20 years later, it surfaces again.
Yeah.
The longest joke ever.
Yeah.
So, anyway, so yes, like those are some of the things, that dry humor that is just that other thing that I think is funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I didn't mention it, but I didn't write it down, but thinking about Monty Python
oh yeah,
is just, I mean, everybody loves Monty Python, but like really getting into their comedy is just
right,
so perfectly timed. Like every line is delivered at the exact right moment because
Right.
like a second later or a second earlier would be not funny. And
yeah.
it's just incredible to see.
Well, one of the funniest things I've ever seen is and that killed me was the fish slapping dance.
Yeah.
It's so dumb,
Yeah.
but it's exactly the right kind of dumb.
Right.
And then, of course, John Cleese and his timing is like only barely tolerating the rest of the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is hilarious too. Right. Very good. Yeah.
So this is where I kind of had my realization in like choosing this topic and wanting to talk about my favorite comedian.
Okay.
So I won't say yet, but there's kind of a interesting lineage here.
Okay.
So he got into comedy in college as part of this like improv group at Georgetown, and there's a kind of like, I think it was each year somebody in the improv group would invite another person in, and so
Okay.
the lineage is Jim Gaffigan,
Okay.
then him, then he invited Nick Kroll, and
Yeah.
Nick Kroll invited John Mulaney.
Oh, okay.
So the guy in the middle there is Mike Birbiglia.
Yes. Well, and that's funny because he is very much a Bob Newhart type.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a story, but it's kind of dry, but it's, oh my gosh, he's great.
Yeah. So yeah, started doing comedy in 1997, but pretty quickly, like, doing improv like that, but pretty quickly moved to more story-based humor.
Right.
Like frequently he'd do things on like The Moth and This American Life, and
Right.
but his style was always just like really engaging, like right away. I'm very interested in his stories, and just however he starts them, however he gets just like the first couple sentences, always like, okay, I'm really interested right away.
Yeah.
And they started with like shorter stories, but going forward, he kind of arched them into bigger overarching stories.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna kind of go through like some of the specials and
Okay.
just kind of talk about them a little bit.
Yeah. Nice.
So there's a few kind of more stand-up based ones before, but the first one I want to talk about is called My Secret Public Journal.
Okay.
And so it was him performing his blog. Essentially, he would write this blog, he'd mail it out and read it on the radio every week, and it was just like stories
Yeah.
from his life. And so this was just kind of in a more comedy club setting.
Right. Okay.
And just like stories about his brother and his parents and like computer viruses. That it's weird because when I was first listening to it, there's a celebrity golf event that used to be at the end of the album, and now it's moved to the first track on the album.
Okay.
I don't know
Weird.
what happened. Because it doesn't feel out of order.
Right.
Anyways, it's a celebrity golf event where people would be paired up with celebrities to go golfing with.
Right.
And when he got there, he realized he was one of the celebrities he'd be paired with, or someone would be paired with him.
Yeah.
And so he got paired with these people, and he's like, I'm sorry, I'm your celebrity, but I'm sorry. When they had like, I think one of the people there was Rudy Giuliani. Or something.
Oh no.
But they're more short stories like that. But you can kind of see the roots of where he would go,
right,
in his comedy. And I think it's a good place to start if you don't know him and you only have like 5 minutes,
right,
to get to know him.
Okay.
You can just go to this album, pick any of them, and you get a little taste, a little introduction to his style.
That's cool.
I think if you have more time that you want to devote to knowing about him, it would be Sleepwalk With Me.
Yeah.
Which is just a crazy story. And this is one that he had made into a movie that
right.
I think I've seen once, but I've listened to the live version of it a lot. And I really love how it starts. He's like, I'm going to tell you a story. It's a crazy story. He's like, it's the kind of story where in retrospect, you're like, what the hell? But in the moment, you're just like, I guess I'll just keep living. But it's all about, it on the surface is about like being diagnosed with a rare sleepwalking disorder.
Right.
But like when you go into all the stories, it's really about his like different forms of denial that he's had to deal with. So like denying that he had this medical issue when there's obvious symptoms and other events in his life where he should have taken care of it sooner.
Yeah.
But also like denial in relationships and a relationship that's heading towards a marriage when he's really not wanting it to head that way, but living in denial that he's going to be able to stop it, even though it's still moving that way.
Oh,
but even denial in his like profession of like performing comedy. And he's like, I would just go on stage and bomb and it'd be terrible. But then I'd have to tell myself like, it's going pretty well.
Yep.
I think even like denying his like connection to his parents was part of it. Like, and when things end up boiling over where it's just too much that he can't really hide it anymore. But because of that, it helps him connect with his dad and have this like understanding between them, even though his dad was always very like emotionally distant kind of dad.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because you being in it and like hearing the story, you feel what it's like to have an emotionally distant dad, which I didn't. But I know that's a pretty common dad experience.
Which I wish I had that sometimes.
But then it's just hilarious all the way through. The whole like I'm a bear, etc. And there's a couple of his like catchphrases almost. Yeah. They're like, what I should have said.
Right.
Was,
right.
Or like when he'll say something and be like, I know, I'm in the future also.
Yeah. I'm with you in the future. Yeah, those are some of my favorite. The what I should have said is so funny and it can come up so often if you in everyday life.
I think there's one, it might have been in the Secret Public Journal or one of the other ones where he said he was moving a mattress into his new apartment.
Right.
And some lady held the door open and she was like, I'm not afraid to hold this open because a rapist wouldn't be carrying a mattress. And he's like, what I should have said was nothing.
Yeah.
He's like, what I did say was you'd be surprised.
That's so bad.
just a great special.
Yeah.
After that, the next one was My Girlfriend's Boyfriend,
Yeah.
which I think this is probably the first thing I saw from him. I don't really remember, but I think this was it. And this also, I think, kind of sparked an interest and a love of Death Cab.
Oh, okay.
Because the special ends with "I will follow you into the dark."
Yeah, cool.
And I think that had been the first time I'd heard that song or recognized that it was a song.
Right.
But this is, the special's all about his relationship with his girlfriend.
Right.
And it's really interesting. He's going through this relationship and then flashing back to like experiences in high school where like he had like a failed kiss, and then he'll be like, I'm so embarrassed, and this is never gonna happen. I'm gonna make sure this never happens again. And then in this relationship with his girlfriend, it happens again.
Oh no.
Or like had a girlfriend in high school, and he ended up hanging out with his girlfriend's other boyfriend at the time. And that happened again with his girlfriend currently in adult life.
Yeah.
Where is more of an ex-boyfriend who like got close with their dad but was still hanging around.
Right.
And he's like, so it's really, really interesting like that. But I think it's also about, accepting that you're wrong. You can be wrong about things.
Yes.
Because the big thing is he starts it with is just like not believing in marriage for anybody. and ending the special with going and marrying his now wife.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I still don't think it's right, but I'm okay with being wrong.
Yeah. That's that reminds me. What does that remind me of? I heard that kind of sentiment by somebody else, but yeah, where they say this is all, this is not, and then, but they end up going, yeah, but what else?
Yeah.
what are the options, right?
Right.
And so, yeah, that's cool.
But again, it's just so funny. This one has the scrambler scene.
Okay.
And scrambler accident. Just it's a really good. I think it's at least equal to Sleepwalk with Me, if maybe a little better. I think it might be the best one.
Cool.
The next one after it is called Thank God for Jokes.
Okay. Right.
And it's pretty much what it's a comedy special all about jokes, which seems like isn't that what all comedy specials are about?
Yeah.
But it's the premise is he was invited to host the Gotham Awards and had this idea for a joke that he's like, this is going to be a problem because the person this joke is about is going to be there. And he's like, should I say it or not? And it kind of goes into whole love of jokes and like talking about the Charlie Hebdo incident.
Okay.
In France, where they made this joke about Mohammed.
Right.
And a bunch of terrorists came in and murdered them.
Yeah. Right.
And how it was just like so shocking. Like these are comedian writers. They're what I am. And they were killed for making a joke. And
right. Which that in of itself is interesting because there's that kind of goes along with the question of how close to tragedy is comedy okay?
Yeah.
So and I know there's that famous formula about time plus
right.
But there's some of it that there's jokes as it happens. That and pretty significantly uncomfortable sometimes or maybe not. Maybe it's just necessary. And I know that even personally that we will laugh a lot in the midst of tragedy. So you can't when is too soon? When's bad taste,
Right.
And it varies. I don't know. There's a unspoken understanding sometimes of, that might be too soon.
Yeah.
So
I remember, I think there's a line on The Office where he's like talking about if something is too soon, and he's like the Lincoln assassination just became funny.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
it's really good, and I I like when he's like talking about this incident. He's like they found it respectful because they believe Muhammad to be their Lord and Savior. Like, and he's like, which for the record, he might be. And then he like looks over his shoulder. He's
Yeah.
like, I don't have any horse in that race.
Yeah.
He seems like a nice like, guy. Jesus was popular too.
Right.
But a really good one, and I think a really emotional one too, kind of just
Right.
showing his love of jokes and his love of comedy, and you know that jokes are always going to be about someone. They're always going to be offensive to somebody because they kind
Right.
of have to be.
Yeah. You have to have a subject of your joke, right?
Yeah.
So,
And going into it, I mean, these ones I haven't seen as much, but I still think they were good. There's the new one, which
so
was how he would always pitch it is he's like it's about the reasons why I thought I should never have a kid,
okay.
and then having a kid and being like, and how I was right, but overall how I was wrong.
Well, so that's actually fascinating because everybody, listen, I'm never going to be a famous political figure, so jumping back and forth between my opinions on things is not the biggest of deals. But
Mm-hmm.
what have we changed in what we believe in at different times, and
Mm-hmm.
what were you, and can you be right about multiple things that are conflicting?
Yeah.
Is an interesting argument, and people are like, how can you be? I don't know. I think like you're cynical, but you're happy. Like
Yeah.
you're depressed but happy, but you have belief and faith, but also a lot of pessimism. I feel like myself, as much as anyone, it can be in conflict with who I am a lot, or
Mm-hmm.
who others think I should be or am or whatnot. So
Yeah.
that's an interesting thing. I'm right about it, but I'm not right about it. But I am, but I'm not.
Yeah.
is fun.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
This
like
one's
that.
really fun too. I think it's one of the more like theatric ones he did because
Okay.
he has this whole story, and then halfway through, he's on the stage, and there's this huge drop of like hundreds and hundreds of baby toys, and then he just does the rest of the set like picking up toys and doing the rest of the show in the
Right.
midst of all these toys, and
Right.
um,
Wild.
but yeah, there was like some moments in it where it's like, I mean, very, very honest.
Right.
I don't remember exactly what it was, but it's like one moment where he was like kind of being shut out from being able to watch the kid, or like his wife just like wanting to take care of it all and not letting him participate,
Right.
or like he'd done something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And then him being like, and then I understood why dads leave sometime, and it's like, and it wasn't, not saying
Yeah.
that's good or anything, but like it's a hard
Yeah.
thing to do, like to raise a kid, and sometimes it's like I get that it can be too difficult.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's a multi-layered. A lot of what he says is like just demonstrated by that is multi-layered examples of why things happen and why you believe the way
Mhm.
you do and all those kind of things. So yeah,
Yeah.
which is good. It's good to help people understand that. That's called therapy.
Yeah.
to say, look, you do weird things, but that doesn't mean you're a bad person. It just means
Yeah.
you're working on things. So
Yeah. The next one after that is the old man in the pool,
yeah,
which is like him dealing with his like health struggles and health fears and wanting to be around. Like I think it kind of reminds me of like when we were talking about how Ezra was really nervous when you were 52.
two, yeah,
And he has that joke. He's like, well, my dad had a heart attack at 56, and his dad had a heart attack at 56, and his dad before that had a heart attack at 56. So I'm thinking I'm just going to take that whole year off.
yeah.
Get an Airbnb close to the hospital.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that was what we had to kind of talk through it, and it's like 52 and 4 months I surpassed. So if I made it to May, I was doing good. And then if but like I said, I didn't have the same history as he did. And I don't, I think that may be what changes it for somebody like Mike Birbiglia, right? He's a Massachusetts guy, isn't he?
Yes.
So we used to watch those. There's history of interesting health decisions in any of those older areas of the country. So
right.
So
yeah, it was another very good one. Like, there's a lot at this point. He had started a podcast.
Yeah.
Where he would just work out jokes on the podcast and kind of show the creative process, and then have other comedians on talk about their creative process and all that. So there's a lot of these I'd seen before in like little clips.
Gotcha.
One, the joke does a lot of jokes about pizza.
Yeah.
Like in all the specials, but in this one there's the one where it's he's like I love pizza so much I get excited when I see the word plaza.
That's good.
Yeah. And then he's like, pizza's an exciting word. Like, it has pizza in it. Like, both the Z's are 2 slices, and then the A has a slice. It's like, that's 5 slices. He's like, it's a literary device called onomatopoeia.
Oh, man. That's what and that is the engaging part, is the writing the joke out. Because there's comedians that don't. I mean, you that don't have a recurring joke, and they also don't think about how does that sound.
Yeah. They
just like, is it funny just on the surface? And as somebody that can drive into what's funny below, like why is analyzing the word pizza, that it looks like pizza, why is that funny? And it's that counterintuitive thing about explaining the joke kills it, but if you explain it the right way, it makes it even funnier.
Yeah.
So
right. But yeah, I just really love his style of comedy, and just I just don't look out too much because I just like this too much, but I don't know of too many other comedians like that who their thing is more a narrative all the way across.
Well, except for some in his lineage, though, right?
Yeah.
So, what was the first one in the row?
Jim Gaffigan.
Yeah. So it's interesting that there's that similar style, because he will ride the joke, and versions of it, and he'll repeat the same thing again and again, and he goes, okay, that's the last one. No, it isn't. But also John Mulaney tells the stories, and he's a storyteller too. But yeah, and it's fun to see the clips. I see the clips of the podcast even now for Mike Birbiglia, and so but there's others, but it is, there is obviously different styles. Not everybody tells a story.
Yeah.
Gabriel Iglesias, he tells stories.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, I really like him. I like what he's doing. But getting back to that realization that I had while doing this, so Mike Birbiglia, obviously very story-based comedian. I realized that a lot of the things I've brought to this podcast to talk about, as far as like music goes, are concept albums, which have a story.
Right.
In them.
Right.
I realized I really like reading the plots to movies. Like, I really want to know the story of a movie, but I can never bring myself to watch movies too often. Like, it takes a lot of effort. As much as I really want to, know and care about the story, so I kind of realized that a lot of things in my life and things that I like are like story based and caring
Yeah.
about the stories.
Okay.
And I feel like there should be some sort of, I need to put in some sort of effort to maybe understand that more, maybe start writing stories and seeing how that goes. And
So do you think that that is somehow, if you're having conversations with other people,
mhm.
do you feel like you care more about the details? Like you maybe take things different, like an extra level down into why instead of just what happened?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I
does it bother you when others don't?
it does. Like I I don't want to, there's some people who are like, oh, I only want to have deep conversations or whatever, and I'm
Yeah.
okay with like very surface,
Yeah.
casual
Yeah. Yeah.
conversation. But I do like to know like how they someone came to this conclusion, or why they like
Right.
this band, or like what's your experience with it, with music that you like, if we're talking about that.
Yeah.
um like I find that really interesting, besides just like, oh, we like the same group, that's cool.
Yeah. Why?
I want to know like their other thoughts
Right.
on the thing, or like it. I think it also like I'm really good and kind of neurotic about um getting quotes right
Yeah.
from shows and
Yeah. Yeah.
movies and
Yeah. Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
So if someone doesn't quote it exactly right, I feel like I have to jump in and be like, well, actually, this was the word.
Yeah. Yeah.
They said it like this. Yeah.
I I know. I mean that speaks to some of your personality because of it's not that you're. It's not like the annoying super literal. It's the fact that you are very precise uh, about music anyway. You know, like for
Hmm.
sure, music you can analyze it down to the nth detail, right?
Yeah.
And it's not showy. It's just is what it is. It's just this is part of you.
Hmm.
And so that, I mean, getting that right is probably part of the fact that you can visualize a whole orchestra's parts when you're scoring something.
Uh-huh.
You have to keep details in your head.
Yeah.
So that's good. That's a good quality. And then as far as just to go back to one thing, the knowing about the story but not watching the movie.
Yeah.
So you inherited that from your mother because
Okay.
there's a lot of movies that come up that she's like, oh, that looks interesting. You go watch it and tell me about it.
Mhm. Yeah.
I want to know what happens. Or let's look it up on, let's look up a synopsis and see if it's worth spending the time on. Or
Yeah.
there's been many a trip when we were just the two of us driving where I completely recounted an entire movie that I watched that she didn't see.
Yeah. That happened with Chloe. When we were driving up to Battleground before flying out to Tucson this time,
Yeah.
she, I guess a lot when she was younger, she watched the movie The Parent Trap a lot.
Oh.
And we've watched it a few times, but it doesn't stick with me for some reason. And so she would like say lines from it, and I was like, okay, well, what's going on around that point? And she could like tell me the entire plot of the
Yeah.
whole movie and plot points and who was saying what, like all these details. And
Yeah.
and at one point she's like, do you want me to stop doing this? And it's like, no, keep going. Like,
Yeah,
go
yeah.
as far as you can.
Yeah. And that was the other thought I had is it kind of relates to this is when you say like you've said something and then haven't said anything and then you say something else unrelated, like random.
Mm-hmm.
Are you able to trace it back to how you got from one statement to the other?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that happens it happens a lot with Chloe. Chloe and I maybe not something like with the random things, or just like maybe like vocal stems or whatever
Yeah.
you want to call them. Well, I'll just say something in a voice that Chloe hasn't seen. And it's gotten to the point where I'll say something and just be like, I'm sure you don't know what that's from. Let me find it real quick
Yeah.
and show you.
I I I will do that. I'll just I've done that other part that you're talking about too. About, well, the reason I said that is this: you need to see this because that's where this phrase came from, and your mom and I know it, but you guys don't understand, and we're laughing. So here, this is, here it is.
Yeah.
This is why. But the other part is where I can go from one random thought to the other, and like, where did that come from? I'm like, well, okay, so I said this, and then you said this, and then I thought about that reminded me of this because we talked about this at this other time, and then I had watched a show where they were talking about the same thing, and then they had talked about this and this one, and so then I said this.
Right.
and I can a lot of the time trace it, and
Yeah.
I think that's and so that's one thing, and the other part is, does it bother you when you think somebody has the ability to do that or be deep or think deeper on things, and then you find out they can't?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I've come across that too much, like,
Yeah.
but I imagine it would.
Yeah.
Like if we're having a conversation and I feel like the next step is this,
Yeah.
and they're just not following, like,
Yeah.
even if it's a small step or small turn or something like that.
So I had a distinct experience, and then I've had some others that were along this line, but when I was delivering furniture,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a lot of young guys that are just, meatheads that want, and they just want to make it to Friday and get drunk and whatever.
Yeah.
And then I was delivering with this guy, and he seemed a little bit more thoughtful.
Mm.
And so I was like, oh, this is cool. And so I decided to share that I had written a book of poetry, and I had published those little bits.
Yeah.
And so I was like, hey, look at this. And I could tell, because he kind of said he liked poetry or what. I could tell it wasn't that he didn't like poetry. It was that he didn't really want to read. He didn't want to read poetry. He didn't want to have a deeper conversation. It was just a general calm deepness. Like, he was just calmer than the other guys. And so it was just in comparison, but he just really, I was like, okay, that's the end of those conversations, because it's not going to go anywhere, and we can still have a good time and we can still chat, but I can't take this any deeper.
Yeah.
So it was disheartening to some degree.
Yeah.
So.
I think something like that has bothered me is people who can't, like, abstract things
too
far.
Yeah.
Like, or even just a little bit. Like, at work, we had a check come in, and someone deposited this check, and I saw it sitting there, and I was like, oh, the check number was 6 numbers long. I was like, if you add up each of the 2 numbers, each one adds up to 10.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, that's nice. That's a nice
just fun
check number.
Yeah.
And they were like, I never would have ever come across, like, thought that. like how did you think of that? It's like, it's just numbers.
It's just there staring you in the face. Why didn't you see it? No.
Yeah, it's like, well, 5 and 5 is 10, 6 and 4 is 10 also.
Yeah. It's just the 8 and the 2 have to go together and make 10.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that is those kind of things are fun. Those kind of things pop up a bit, and that's
so yeah. Just a thought I've had recently. I don't know exactly where to go with that. I knew that I do like writing, and I do like note taking like this, like, in preparation for the podcast, and maybe that can translate into some sort of story based thing. That was just something that I'd been thinking about this week, and while I was preparing for this. And
so that brings me to a question, and also might help might help you in a way.
Hmm.
Kind of a couple parts to it, but so going back to Mike Birbiglia or even similar comics, but to him specifically, one question you could ask is, does more interesting stuff happen to him, or does he find the interesting thing in the stuff that happens?
I think it's finding the more interesting things.
And do you think that that builds on itself? So if you're finding interesting things in what you're doing, do you think more interesting things will happen to you?
Um, I think so. Well, yeah, and maybe they'll just seem like they're more interesting because you're ready for things to be more interesting.
I think so. I would argue that it does, because it opens you up, and then you become more aware that something interesting is happening
Hmm.
because you've seen something in what's happening that makes it a little bit interesting, that you think maybe it could be really interesting, and then you start drawing other people in to
Yeah.
seeing that, because hey, look, this, you might have missed this, but like like the check numbers. um
Yeah.
and and then in that, do you remember details that even way back, do you remember details?
A little bit. I mean, sometimes it can be tricky, but if I do put in effort
Yeah,
to remember, like taking notes or things, it's easier to remember the details.
sure.
Not right away. I remember every single detail, especially if things go back further.
Yeah,
But if I spend time with it, I can.
yeah. I think those that write stories, or those that write period, you start retaining.
Mhm.
And I've been writing since second grade, like
Yeah.
creatively. And so I remember details of stuff that happens, and not photographically
Mhm.
always, sometimes, but
Right.
also just I remember details. And
Yeah.
because I think I could use this.
Right. I
So
think I don't know who said it, but I've heard some quote that was like the author's curse is to remember.
yeah, I think that's true. There, another true statement.
Yeah.
So the way to get that to stick, let's say, to remember things, or
Mhm.
to foster it, is to start writing.
Mhm.
And as you do so, then you start retaining more and more. And so
Yeah.
that's really the key, is in the doing, which I think is a good, um that goes back to your original thing about he was, lying to himself about how good the show was going.
Yeah.
And that is, part of it, is that you kind of, it's kind of the fake it till you make it, but also, keep trying and keep working it out. And it's funny that he would do a podcast about working out how a joke will work,
Yeah.
because that is, that's, it's fascinating and weird, and how is what is really funny. So
Right. Yeah. I think that's even called working it out. Is the name of the
oh
podcast.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's funny.
Would
Sorry.
that be like your top suggestion if someone was wanting to be a writer or an author? Is just do it?
Yeah, that's the whole thing, is and that's the funny thing, is like, if somebody wants to be a musician, the first thing is, go practice the instrument, right?
Mhm.
But if you want to be kind of delve other arts, if you want to be a photographer, learn how to use the camera, but
Right.
when it comes to writing, once you've learned whatever language you're writing in, a lot of the advice, a lot of people think that there's nothing more. You just, what's in my soul. It's kind of like painting. It's just,
Yeah.
I'll instantly be good. But no, you got to learn how to use the materials. And in writing, the materials are what's going on around you. And if you don't know how to accurately explain an event, or to recall it, or to make it interesting, that was, some of the like your mom said I should read Twilight, because the one thing that lady is really good at is dialogue, and I'm not. So that's how you practice. Just you have to see how other things are done, and you want to try and be as pure as possible about your experience, but you also have to know how to use words and do it. So just go write. Just write something is the whole start.
Yeah, I did see some video where there was, I mean, it happened on Twitter, so like that probably doesn't really matter, but a large group of authors, like self-taught authors, who are like I don't read anyone else's work. I only read my work because like I don't want to copy anybody's like style. It's like, like I get it in one way, but you also kind of have to know how writing looks and works, and
I
if
don't.
You're saying you're completely without influence, you're lying to yourself.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you think that that's the real hard part, is that you think you're uninfluenced, you're like, well, I don't want to read you then, because you don't know what you've referenced.
Yeah, and then like the person making the video, like they'll post like something that they'd written, like, see, like this is good writing, and I don't read other authors, and they're like yeah, this reads like somebody who's never read a book.
Yeah, there you go. yeah. That is, so yeah, write, but also read. It's like you can't, even if you're not religious, you still have to read the Bible, because you have to know what you're referencing, because most of Western literature references something about that, because it is the source code for all Christianity, right? So you have to know what basic themes are based on what's in that. So you should have some knowledge of the characters or something, even if it's just surface, you should know what a parable is. You should know what good and evil and all that kind of stuff. So there you go.
Well, yeah, those are my thoughts. That's what I had prepared this week, and I think Mike Birbiglia is great, and I hope he keeps doing what he's doing. I listened to a couple other things, like I think he was on Smartless one time, and that was really fun.
Oh, I bet that was great. Yeah, that's cool. It's cool to hear comedians talk about comedy. It seems like it would be dumb, but it's not.
Yeah.
So
yeah, there's some comedians who are maybe the more generally popular ones. I don't really want to hear what you have to say about this.
But you see somebody like Seinfeld, and the process he goes through is insane, but that's what you have to do.
Yeah.
And that's why he's always seems fresh.
Right.
So, well, cool.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. I like Mike Birbiglia too. So we can hang out still.
Yeah. Cool.
So you've been listening to Like Pigs in Space, an arts and culture podcast. I'm Aaron Mason.
And I'm Max Mason.
And thanks for listening.
Bye.